Talk about fun tonight. We just got home. It's about 11 o'clock at night, which is, somewhat early, even, my hostess said. Every Wednesday morning since I've been here, and again tomorrow morning is Wednesday morning, there is the breakfast for El Grupo de los Jueves. So it's the Thursday group, and it's a group of women. And so they have breakfast once a week on Wednesdays. And my hostess has not been going for a while just because she just, didn't kind of feel like it. But then when they, invited me to come and stay with them and I arrived, then she said, "Hey, why don't I take Lynn to this?" And she said, "I wouldn't be going if you weren't going with me." So that's great. So we've gone 2 Wednesdays. We're going again in the morning. We leave at 8:30 in the morning to be there for 9 o'clock. And tonight was the Christmas event, kind of. Well, yeah, just because we all got together and there were Christmas decorations and it's this time of year. But it was nighttime, and so they had, a one-man band sort of thing, and it was great, all these women. So I counted them, and I forget how many I counted. If we 24 or something like that. Isn't that awful that I forget the number? I actually counted them, but I forgot to take my telephone, so I forgot to take my camera, so it was great. But oh, you would have loved it because the decorations were beautiful. I went for a little walk around the place, and it's a restaurant, it looks like, but it's also a hotel, but it has individual cabins on a little path, that goes up through the trees and stuff, and it's in the city of Zihuatanejo, near the beach. And oh my gosh, anyway, it was just beautiful. And I had so many funny things that happened right in the beginning. We got there, long table with all of us women, sitting at this long table, just like the Wednesday breakfast. And the music started. Oh my God. And I might have very delicate ears, nothing like my younger daughter, but I might have very delicate ears. Anyway, I spoke to the waiter. I spoke to the young el mesero, but you call them joven. And I spoke to him and I said, "Could you please just change the direction of that speaker?" "Oh, I don't know if I can do it." And I said, "Thank you for asking the musician." And next thing I know, it's not blasting in my ears where I'm going to have to go to the other side of the table from my host, and I don't want to do that and whatever, but I'm going to take care of me first. So at any rate, next thing I know, I'm not hearing it blasting in my ear, like reverberating in my ears. And the woman on the other side of my hostess, said, "Thank you, thank you." This is yes. This is yes in Mexican. In Mexico, in Mexican language, it's yes. So anyway, so the waiter came by again for, some, I don't know why, he just walked. Oh, maybe he was bringing another drink or something. And I said, "By the way, thank you so much," like in Spanish, but I said, "By the way, thank you so much for changing the direction of that speaker." And then this woman on the other side of my hostess said, "Yes, thank you for asking him to do that." And it may not be a Mexican thing. I don't know, maybe they will just accept what's there, but I couldn't. So that was one thing. And then it turned out that my hostess and I had ordered the same meal, and it appears we may have been the only two who ordered it, really. So we had Alfredo with shrimp. That's why I would have ordered it, was for the shrimp. And so at any rate, turns out, everybody else had their meal, and they had 2 extra meals I saw on a table, like over there. And so, yeah, I saw that they had those 2 extra meals, and I was almost tempted to just say, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But one of the waiters, not my young waiter who was serving me wine, but another person, came over and asked Meche, my hostess, did you order the pasta? And she said yes, and so did my friend. Okay, so we waited and we waited and we waited. But then finally it came, and when it came, the guy apologized and all this stuff, and it was hot to die for, excellent shrimp, and I said, valió la pena. So it was worth la pena is it was worth the pain. Valió la pena. It was worth it, not the effort, but anyway, it was worth it. Just it was worth it. So it was worth it, I said, and everybody laughed. We had a hot meal where everybody else had, all the meals came out at the same time, and by the time they got served theirs, of course, it wasn't so hot. We had the best meal. We waited the longest, but that's okay. We had the best meal. And so then later, this young guy who had helped me with the sound, and he was the one who also got my wine because they only had two options for red wine. And Merlot, no, I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It tastes like juice. When it comes to Merlot, I will drink water rather than spending 10 cents on Merlot. But anyway, Cabernet Sauvignon, no, I don't like it, but that's fine. It's better than Merlot. And it wasn't so bad. But at any rate, so he was the guy who served me my wine too, and I saw him on the other side when the desserts were coming, and there were all these desserts coming, right? And I don't know why my hostess Meche and I were going to be the last ones served again, but at any rate, I saw him standing there with all these desserts, and I just said, hey, like, here. So he started coming, and he was kind of watching me, and I went, no, with that, like bring it. I'm saying with my hand, like, bring it. And okay, so he grabs one plate of dessert. And Major is saying at the same time, yeah, hey, he's not bringing I said, I know, but I'll take care of it. So he gets to, because now he's not looking at me anymore. So he gets to me, and I said, para mi amiga también. Oh, okay. So he went over and got her dessert too. I mean, I had this phenomenal kick-ass, what do you call it, personal service from this young guy. He kept looking at me all night because they had flubbed up our order of giving us it was Alfredo, with shrimp and valió la pena. So it was worth the wait and all that stuff. It was so delicious. But anyway, it was cool. But then the music, then this guy who had this, the one-man band sort of thing. We have them all over Canada. I'm sure they're in the U.S. I've seen them in the U.S. I've traveled a lot in the U.S. And anyway, so this guy, I asked him to play one of my favorite songs in Spanish, a song that I can sing a bit with, and it's called Bésame Mucho. Bésame mucho. Anyway, it's like kiss me a lot is what it's saying, Bésame mucho. And I just happen to love the song. And I know it a little bit, and I can sing more and more with it every time I hear it. And so the guy played it and sang with it. And so anyway, he started playing more music, and I said to him, could you play? I went over to him and asked for Bésame mucho, and then I went over to him and I asked for either una bachata or una salsa. Una salsa? Okay. All right, fine. And so then all these women got up and we danced and we danced and we danced. And that's why I look like this, red face and hair full of perspiration. It was great fun. And then at some point, the women stopped dancing anyway. You get to the point where you've kind of had enough. And, I've got another topic I got to come to. So, anyway, so then I went over and I asked him if he would please play A Bachata para mí de Romeo Santos, de los Estados Unidos, pero viene originalmente su familia, al menos, from the Dominican Republic. So he's a Dominican Republican, and he may have been born there or his family was from there. But anyway, he's from the States. But I love bachata from Romeo Santos. And so the guy is like, yeah, yeah. And then somebody is asking for another song, and he said, well, I'm looking for a bachata by Romeo Santos. And the person was like, huh? And yeah, it's for her. He said, para ella. Okay, so anyway, that's fine. And so he did eventually find one. And I got up and started dancing immediately. And everybody's like making all this noise, like, woo, look at this. But then about 3 or 4 other women got up and danced with me. And so I kind of danced closer to him and I said, look at las mexicanas le gustan también. So what happened after that was the music. I was going to tell you, oh yeah, oh yeah. So there were all these fans happening, in front of their faces. And I talked to somebody about hormones, and that's what was happening. Well, they're they range from 40s through 50s through 60s and 70s and 80s. And tomorrow morning we're going to be celebrating the birthday of a 94-year-old, and she was dancing with us tonight. Her name is Ana Maria, but she goes by Anita, and her hija, her daughter, is Ana Maria, and she also goes by Anita. But Anita Grande is turning 94 tomorrow, and she made sure that we're all going to be there for breakfast and celebrating her birthday. And she doesn't want any flowers or anything because she's going away. Her family is taking her away on a vacation, and my hostess thinks it's to Mexico City, but she's not 100% sure. But the thing is that so many of these women were waving these fans in front of their face because they couldn't tolerate the heat and humidity. And I said, it's just your hormones, girls. You're going through menopause and it's a hormonal thing. I could help you fix that if you want, because I did not suffer. I did not suffer. I had a couple of blips, maybe 3. I can think of 3. I can't actually. I can think of 2, and I'm sure I had another one. So let's say 3 blips, just so that I could understand what the heck is the suffering that women go through in menopause. And I had almost none of it, just enough to get a feeling of what people go through. And you don't have to, and I can help you avoid it. So if you're in your 40s or early 50s and you have not yet gone through menopause, reach out to me. I won't charge you a thing. It's just I can help you avoid it. So these women, it was just comical. So I was saying to my hostess, who is 64, and I will be 66 next week, I went through almost none of it. And I was just chuckling with her. Look at all those people suffering from hormone imbalance. And I know that they're all going through menopause and they don't know anything about how to avoid the hot flashes and the suffering from the heat and humidity. Yeah, there's heat and humidity for me too, but I'm not suffering from, I'm not, oh my God, oh my God. And there I was dancing, and people were talking about me like, oh my God, look at how she likes to dance. Like, wow, she really dances and it's not too hot for her. Dancing, vale la pena para mí. And in the morning, it'll be December 20th when we celebrate the birthday of this 94-year-old woman who was dancing with us tonight. Now, don't get me wrong. I would have loved to have grabbed the guy with the keyboard. Well, I don't know. Did he have a keyboard? Yeah, probably had a keyboard. He was singing anyway. I would have loved to have grabbed him and danced with him, but maybe he doesn't know how to dance. I don't know. I prefer to dance with a man whirling me around the room But second best is I will just dance. So talk about having fun. Yes, yes, yes. And this is the restaurant we were at. I guess this is their usual restaurant maybe, and then last week we went to a different one that's on the beach. I'll be putting all these together. And they're all open air, beautiful, gorgeous lugares. And this is a very popular one for sure, as are they all. And oh yeah, this is the week of Christmas. The 24th is on Sunday, so Christmas Day is on Monday coming, and it's Wednesday. So Mexicans start Christmas early. The kids got out of school last Friday, and so then they just take off and go on vacation. They know how to vacation. And this is our room, and we don't usually have music, but this music is brought in by the celebrating and celebrated 94-year-old. Oh, it looks like the sun. This is her daughter, and they're both called Ana Maria, and they both go by Anita. This is the birthday girl today, 94 years old today, the 20th of December, and look at her. I mean, we're having this festive breakfast this morning at her request. She didn't want flowers because she's going away. Ooh, mira! So this is Meche's parking system. She parks right in front of the door, blocking in other vehicles. That's fine, as does this guy here too. And not the man, but the car. And then they know her vehicle, which is this cute little thing. They'll do off-roading and all that stuff. Yeah. And anyway, so then they just come to her and they say, Meche, come move your car, and she does. And I knew she hadn't left the table today, so I knew she hadn't been called upon to move the car, but that's her system, and I love it. And now we just came and picked up the Los Blancos, the sheets, etc., sheets and blankets and bed covers and stuff like that. Her car is full and heading off to the house they rent out. Okay. Gracias. Espero que no hay lluvia que va a entrar. Nada más. Okay.